I don't take days off, do I? When my number is called, I don't take plays off, do I? I'ma always give you 20 and 10, no matter how much you wanna pretend that I ain't clutch with it. I don't do the load management, baby I can handle it. When the heat is on, I can manage it. I'm kinda like James.
What's up,
Harden's career.
everybody? Welcome to the Others Receiving Votes podcast, sponsored by MGlow Market Connect Play. I'm your host, Loren Woods, aka Big Low. And today, on the Friday Inferno, you know, the day that I just pretty much go off about whatever I want, I want to talk about how a lot of these agents, you know what? Let me first back it up. You know, I got a phone call from a kid that was very interested in working with my sports marketing company and you know, trying to further his career in basketball and, you know, get exposure and stuff like that. So, you know, we were just having a conversation and we were talking about how one of his agents told him in the past that if he goes to a certain region, he could get stuck there. And or if he goes to certain regions or certain countries, and he won't be able to move out of those regions, or, you know, like his career will only go down and all of that, you know, all that bullshit. In my opinion, I just think it's really bad advice to be given young players. I do understand the mindset, you know, the ancient mindset. There's a lot of guys that do go to certain places and they stick and they stay there for a long time, and maybe they don't go back, or, you know, don't go to a different region, or, you know, maybe they don't have the connection. See, I've always thought about it more about the connections. If you don't have the connections or the network to get in different regions or in different countries, then it won't happen. You know, you got to have those connections and be able to network, or your agent has to be able to have those connections and be able to network, and then it's not too bad. There's so many guys that move in and out of different regions, in and out of different countries. I mean, myself is included. I don't really like to include myself in a lot of the different situations that happen because for the most part, I was in a very different, I took a different path than a lot of young players do. You know, I was very fortunate, very blessed to be drafted in the NBA, and then I went to Europe, but then I went back to the NBA from Europe, and then I went back to Europe from the NBA, then to the Middle East. And that's where I settled towards the end of my career. But don't get it twisted. I was still getting looks in Europe. I was still getting, you know, people hitting me up, asking me if I was interested in playing, you know, in different European situations. And I'm not gonna lie, man. To me, you know, practicing 2 times a day, and, you know, 2 hard practices, and then you got to play the games and barely getting days off, maybe having 1 day off, maybe is like, you know, some of them European coaches, man, or some of them European teams, they think like having a light practice is a day off. Nah, man. You know, I needed to give my body a rest. So, you know, that's pretty much one of the reasons that I stayed in the Middle East. I love the lifestyle. I love the culture. But the biggest part of it was I love the rest. Boy, I used to get 2 days off sometimes. You know, you need that, you know, especially an old guy like myself. I needed to have that, you know, that huge break in between, you know, games and practices sometimes to just get my body right. But, you know, I was thinking about it because I told this guy, you know, this same story about a guy by the name of Hassan Whiteside. And, you know, this kid played in second division China. He played in the Middle East. I played against him in Lebanon, you know, and I remember when he walked in the gym, you know, I was, you know, one of my boys at the time, Corey Homicide Williams. Shout out to Corey Williams, man. He's doing his thing over in Australia. But I asked him like, man, what is this kid doing here? Like after we played the game, like there's no way he should be here. And I remember I called some of my peeps up, there was some NBA scouts at the time, and just asked about him, like, well, what's going on with this kid? How is he even here? Like, how did he? Okay, even if he's not in the NBA, there's no way he shouldn't be playing in the Euro League somewhere on one of the top teams. I mean, I just thought he was that good at the time, and he just had a bad year or a couple of years or something in the NBA when he first went in, got a bad rep, and that label stuck with him. But I just felt like he was way too young to have that label stick like that. But at any rate, to make a long story short, after 2 years that I played against him, 2 years later, he signed a $100 million contract in Miami. So there's no way. And he was like 25, 26, playing in China, playing in the Middle East. And then he worked his way all the way back and, got paid. And, it's a ton of guys like that. Pat Beverly was like that. Gerald Green was like that. They started off overseas and then worked their way back to the NBA. Mark Jackson, same thing. He got drafted. He elected to go play overseas for a couple of years, then went back to the NBA and signed a huge deal. I played with a guy, one of my friends that was on the show, Breon Rush, and he was in the Middle East, and he didn't even finish out the season where we were. It was a lot of nonsense that was going on, but like I said, when I first saw Breon, I thought there was no way that he shouldn't have gotten a legitimate shot in the NBA. But, all of that stuff didn't happen. We ended up playing together on the same team in Lebanon, and he didn't even finish out the season. But immediately, as soon as he left Lebanon, immediately got picked up by a European team and was crushing it. He played in Germany, played in France, and this was after Lebanon. So, there's all kinds of movement, and you can go any way you want. So, like what's my point? Well, there's a lot of shitty agents out there. I guess that's my number one point. And there's some great ones out there. Don't get me wrong, man. I know a lot of guys who I've worked with in the past, who I've come across, great guys, very well informed. I mean, I believe they all should be well informed anyway. And, but if you're well informed and you're giving out false information just to try to retain clients, or, to attract clients, I mean, that's just immoral, in my opinion. And then if they don't know the industry, then, well, that's just another story altogether. We shouldn't even be talking about that. But, that's just my opinion, man. And I guess it's strength in numbers. Like the more clients you have, the better chance you'll get paid. I guess that's the idea. I get it. I'm okay with that as long as people are getting told the truth, man. And, especially these kids, because, these kids are coming out of college or, maybe playing overseas for, 1 or 2 years. They're fairly young and they sitting there waiting by the phone because they think they got a deal coming up and they don't, or, they're just, being strung along. And the worst thing is, like, a lot of these kids are super talented. Like, they can just go in places and play, and maybe they won't be able to play on that top level European team or that top team in China, where a lot of NBA guys go and make a ton of money or whatever. But maybe they can go to like, one of the smaller countries or some places where they will get an opportunity to play. And they'll get paid. They can help support their family, and they can do what they love to do, and which is get paid to play a game, which I always thought was a joke anyway. I mean, I loved it. I thought it was the best thing ever. Like, holy smokes, man! Like I was doing this thing for free for like 13 years, and now I'm getting paid to do it, and it's all love. I loved it, and I wish everybody had the same opportunity that I had. But I guess people are free to choose to do whatever they want to do. So, I get, and again, once you come out of college, you're supposed to be an adult, and then you got to be able to make informed decisions. But usually a lot of these kids out there are just they're following the guidance from people that they trust. And unfortunately, it's not a lot of trustworthy people in this industry and in our industry. And this isn't the only industry like that. The entertainment industry is like that. Obviously, I'm sure there's a ton of other industries that all across the board, just don't have a ton of trustworthy people. But we need to get more trustworthy people out there, man, is what I'm saying. That's it. Anyway, I'm done venting.
I don't take days off, do I? When my number is called, I don't take plays off, do I? I'ma always give you 20 and 10, no matter how much you wanna pretend that I ain't clutch with it. I don't do the load management, maybe I can handle it. When the heat is on, I can manage it. I'm kinda like James Harden's career, I can walk whenever I feel, and that's fact.